counseling. And that is why sometimes some parents feel, why do I have to spend my money to pay for a counselor to talk to my son, yet I have an uncle or an aunt who can speak to them. But they have to understand that for you to be able to counsel these young men, young women, there's a training you go through.
Yeah.
There's a strategy you go through. It's not just a normal conversation.
Yeah.
What we are trying to identify is what is the root cause of the problem.
Exactly.
What is the solutions at hand. And there are things we have seen, and I know you can bear witness, that young people will share with us that they would not feel free to share with their parents. And a case in particular, yesterday, there was this particular young man who was brought to my office who had an issue of indiscipline. And when I had some time with him, the things he told me in a period of 30 minutes, when I called his mother in, she said, Haja iniambia hivyo. Because again, they feel like if I speak to someone else, he is at more liberty to be open. They feel if I share this with my mom or my dad, they will condemn me. So we have to understand that young people open up when they speak to mentors and youth pastors, youth leaders, people who is not part of the immediate family. So we should not shy away from counseling. We should not shy away from guidance. And we should encourage our parents, do not think that you're wasting your money when you're paying a counselor. Or when, for example, when you are the leader of the Bridge Group program at ACK St. Luke's, they should not feel as if it is wastage of time. There is so much value addition that goes when you pour yourself into the lives of these young men. And some of the things we say to them, they are the seeds that becomes agents of change. Just one word. Can bring about a change in the life of a young man.
The last time we had a parents forum, I was telling them, sometimes even if you think your child is very sober and is doing very well, it's very important once in a while, take that child for therapy. Just go, just take her, create a conducive environment first. Make that child understand it's not because you're misbehaving. It is not because you've done something that have offended me. I'm just taking you, just like I can take you for clinical checkup, for medical checkup, without any issue on your body. Sometimes we go for blood pressure tests, we go for test for sugar levels, and it doesn't mean that you have a problem. But you're just checking to make sure that everything is balanced. So I was telling the parents, it's very important. No matter how good you think your kid is, sometimes they will be so good, you'll think that your child is so calm. But it's because deep down inside, they are battling a lot of maybe emotional breakdown. You think your child is well behaved, but deep down inside they are dying by and by, and it's a ticking time bomb. When that child explodes, that is when you find a parent saying, sikudhani huyu anaweza fanya hivi. Then all of a sudden your child is caught smoking bangi. And all through you thought that your child is well behaved. He's always silent. So when it gets to that point, that is when things, and the kind of damage that is done will cost you a lot than maybe if you used to do it. Like if I know you have a car. If you don't take your car for servicing, once it breaks down,
it will cost me more.
My friend, it's going to be more.
Than so it would have costed me if I was servicing it.
I normally tell my wife, this is what I normally tell my wife. I'm a counselor, both by profession and by calling. But I cannot handle my children at some point. I will make sure, yes, I'll give the counsel, just the basic counsel, but I'll make sure there is somebody to work with them. Because just like you've said, especially in teenage, I normally tell parents that a teenager is like an antelope in the wilderness. They are always suspects within themselves. Like if you call your teenager, like John, the first thing that he thinks, nimekosea.
What have I done? What have I not done?
So that is why you will find a child, like in a church setup, when I'm dealing with teenagers, you will tell a child, see me after the service. Then ukimwambia, like, how have you been? Naanza kuambia mimi I've been okay, sina shida na wazazi.
Yes.
I have not done something wrong.
Why do you
no, you're like, why are you defending yourself?
Yes.
Because they are always suspects to themselves.
Yeah.
Because they feel like the society does not understand them.
Yeah.
So anytime you call the name, he feels like, okay, again, I'm being condemned.
Yes.
So we have to understand there is a parental fear that is with teenagers.
Yes.
They can't open some of things.
They can't.
You don't expect your child to come and tell you that I slept with a man yesterday.
Absolutely. And what you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
That parental fear
Yeah.
is what prevents our sons and our daughters to open up to us. Like you said, you're a counselor, I'm a counselor.
Yeah.
I have a teenage son. There are some things I know my son cannot open up to me.
You.
And I understand that. So I have the understanding. Do you know, even when there was a time I had a mentorship program for young people here at Bishop Kariuki. And my son, instead of bringing him to my mentorship program, I took him to another pastor's mentorship.
Thank you.
Because I understand in my environment, he will not feel
There's
free.
some things that he won't, and he will fake.
Yeah, he will fake it.
Yeah.
So I had to take him to another mentorship program because I know in that environment, he will feel free.
Yeah.
He will open up. And there is an ability in that other counselor that I may not possess. You know, we are gifted differently. We are gifted differently.
Yeah.
It is foolish for me to think I know it all, I have it all. No. We are gifted differently. There's an ability within you that I don't have. And vice versa. So when you understand that as a parent, you will not feel threatened to take your son or your daughter for counseling or guidance or retreat programs.
Sure.
Because in that environment, they're able to open up and share about things they may not be comfortable sharing with you. Another point you have said that is very important. Most parents think, the only problem will only arise if my son is smoking weed. Or my daughter is sleeping around. But there are other issues that are not evident. They are behavioral problems.
Exactly.
Maybe he has an addiction of gambling. You get what I mean? Maybe he has an addiction of pornography, an addiction to masturbation. He is struggling with same-sex feelings. So he may be a good student with good grades, comes straight home from school, comes straight home from church, and you're thinking my son is okay. No. There are other deep-rooted issues that may not be on the surface.
Sure.
So for you to think that I don't need to take my son or my daughter for counseling because there's no issue, you're deceiving yourself.
Yeah, it's very wrong.
All of us have issues. All of us have baggage. And do you know? So likewise, I understand. As much as even we do counseling, to be honest, my able colleague, do you know we also have issues?
Yeah, we do. We do. And we need counselors.
And my able listeners need to know that sometimes we consult each other on some things. Yes?
Yeah, I know.
So we all need help. More so when it comes to our young men and our young daughters.
Recently, I think some weeks ago, I had a case with a girl. We went somewhere. We had a big group.
Yes.
And so I discovered that she's disturbed. And we started talking. And she opened a lot. She has been so tied in, she's bisexual. She has a lot of heartbreaks. She has a lot of issues to deal with. And the only thing that she knows is that she's a wreck. She's a bad girl. Wow. Then I asked her, have you ever taken time to share this with your mom or your dad? She told me, no, I cannot. And I asked her, what's your parents' perception on you? What do they know you? How can they describe you? She told me, call my mom. I did. I called the mother. And the mother praised the girl. She was like, hananga marafiki. Isipokuwa tu wasichana wanakujaga hapa. I have never seen her involve herself in alcohol. She's battling weed right now. Weed addiction.
Wow. But the parent is not aware.
Yeah, she believes that she's the best. One, she's very obedient. She's this kind of a person who will trick you within a minute.
Yes.
So when it comes to church issues, she's always in the forefront because the mother is also a committed Christian.
Yeah.
When it comes to issues of family, she's always in the forefront.
Yeah.
If you want somebody who will pray for food, she's always there. But deep down inside her, she's dying. Anytime she gets to her peers, she wants to withdraw. Because either she will have a crush on a girl, and at some point she has approached some, and it really backfired on her.
Yes.
So she has a lot of problems. In her, she believes that she's a wreck. That's the exact word that she used.
Wow.
And she told me that I am very bad. But my parents, I wish I can tell them who I am.
Wow. They don't have an idea what their daughter is battling.
Yeah, she told me, call mom. She gave me her mother's number. Wow. She told me, call her.
And ask her.
Ask her. Don't even ask. I didn't even ask. I told her, I'm with your daughter. We were just having a talk. We had gone out with the youths in the church. And she told me, I know when it comes to church issues, I don't hold her from going anywhere. Because she's this girl that I trust so much.
And do you know one of the things I've realized during the time I've dealt with teenagers? When I call in their parents after, 90% of their parents don't think they know
their children in and out.
But they don't.
That's a lie.
They don't. I have noticed most parents don't really know their children. Because when they start to open up to me, they tell me some stuff that when I ask them, have you ever said this to your mom or your dad? No.
Yeah.
Why? First of all, my mom is in Yamini. Second, my dad would kill me. There's that parental fear. You use that one.
Yeah.
The parental fear that causes these young men not to bond with, So we have to create an awareness to parents.
Yeah.
And let them know. I don't care how strong your relationship is with your child. There are things they will never tell
They
you.
will never. And I remember there is this pastor from Nigeria, may God rest his soul. When I was doing biblical counseling.
Yeah.
And he used to tell us in an illustration that a heart of a person is formed in chambers. It has chambers. Yeah. Like there is a chamber for your wife. I know all our viewers can bear this witness with me, that there are things that we can talk. Tusidanganyane. There are things that we can talk, you and I, but you can't share with your wife.
Absolutely, 100%.
Let us not say like, I'm very open. There are things you won't tell your husband.
Of course.
There are some secrets that you will take to the grave, or else at some point when they are not so bad, when they won't cause so much harm, that's when you open up.
Yes.
There are some things that you won't open to your pastor.
Oh, yes.
There are some things, and there are those chambers. There is a parent's chamber, there is a spouse chamber, there are friends' chamber, and there is the religion's chamber.
Yes, sir.
Those chambers don't interact.
Wow.
There are things that I will talk to my fellow men. Na hata bibi yangu anifinya wapi.
Hawezi mwambia.
Yes, because a human heart has this fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
When it comes to wife, you analyze. You know, women will just come and spit everything.
Yes.
But a man, you will analyze. You look at what are the repercussions. What will happen after I disclose this?
Yes.
No, it is not maybe something bad, and I would really want to speak it out, but I don't want what will follow. So you hold it.
And you know what you're saying is true, because again, and it's important women out there understand, part of the reason there are things we don't share with them is because some women have a tendency, if you open up to them, they can use that in the future
as a weapon
against you.
Yeah.
And that causes us to hold back. Yeah. Because when you enter into a conflict, she will remind you,
you told me.
You told me. You get because they have a memory bank. They never forget. Women never forgive and forget. They don't. So that is one of the ways we protect ourselves.
And it is also similar with African parents.
Yeah.
We don't forget.
Yes, we don't forget.
You will find a parent relating what a child is doing at teenage for something that they did sometimes when they were in the lower primary.
Yes.
They'll be like, ulikuwa unataka kukataa shule.
Yes.
These are the same signs unaanza kunionyesha.
Yeah.
It is the same way you started. So those fears we have to understand. And I really encourage parents. There is a question that my wife keeps on asking. Why do we find out that mostly watoto wa wahubiri ndio wanakuanga mostly they are ruined? Why don't they follow their parents' footsteps? But let me tell you, my brother, I'm a rail leader, but I can't be a rail leader to my children.
Yes,
I can only be a good example to them, do good thing, teach them the basic.
Yes.
But the fact is that they will always discuss me. When I stand on the pulpit, they will not analyze the word that I'm preaching. They will analyze the person I am back at home.
It's true.
You get me?
That's what they do.
Yeah, so we try to pump spirituality on our kids.
Which is not right.
Whereas they want you to be a father to them.
Yeah.
So just be a father to them. When it comes to church, just do a general ministry and leave your kids. If you find out that your kids are not going the right way, wacha kupigia mtoto ndimi kwa nyumba. Bakiane aende agongewe ndimi zenye hajazoea.
What you're saying is so true. We should always allow our children to discover their God for them. You know the encounter I had with God?
It's very different.
It's very different. And the way God will have an encounter with my son and my daughter is different from the way he had an encounter with me. So what you have said is very true. Be an example to them.
Yes.
But do not force your God on them. Do not force your values on them. Lead by example.
Yes.
And then allow God to impact their hearts.
Yes.
You know, the Bible says train up a child. It doesn't say force a child.
Yeah.
No, you train them. And once you train them, you lead by example. And then they follow. Another thing I think it's important, especially, for example, you are a lay leader.
Yeah.
And there's so much expectation on you from the congregation, from the men of God. Sometimes people fail to understand you're also human.
Yeah.
They fail to understand you get angry.
Yeah.
They fail to understand you're battling the same temptations we battle.
Exactly.
And when you are in the leadership position, sometimes it's very difficult because you're juggling so many balls in there. You're a husband, you're a lay leader, you're a father, you're a businessman, and the congregation expects Zaki to be perfect. So if you miss the mark, if you make a mistake, they come down on you. They amplify it. So the reason I raised that point is this. I remember at one time we were having a discussion with my wife and my children were there. And because sometimes when I'm invited to preach, I take them along and they hear me preach. So my wife asked me something and I think I jokingly said something that was not accurate. And my children said to me, "Guy, Daddy, unadanganyana na unahubiri." And I thought to myself, wow, that's so powerful. Because they have such an expectation on me.
Very high.
Very high. And it makes me think, how do I show them that I'm also human? How do I show them that I can also make a mistake? You know what I mean? Because when you're preaching, you're operating in your gift.
Exactly.
But
they are not
exactly
in there. They are not in
when
there.
You leave, go home, now you are you.
Yes.
But yet they expect you to be
the dad. Whatever they believe in you, that's what they expect you to be. You've reminded me of the time I promised my son that I'll take them out somewhere in the evening. So, because they wanted to accompany me to church on a Saturday. So I told them, like, we have 2 meetings and I will not be able to concentrate with you around. So stay in the house. I'll come pick you and at around 3, take you to a place, then we come back home. And so the meetings extended and I felt so tired, I didn't go pick them. So when we came home at around 7 in the evening, the first statement after hugging me, my son asked me, "Daddy, kwani hata Rerida wanadanganyanga?" That's what he asked me. Kwani hata Rerida wanadanganyanga? I am like, why have you asked? I felt like an insult. You know how you feel. This is not what I expected. I was expecting my son to ask me that, how was your day? Me ask him, how have you? But the first thing was, Daddy, kwani Rerida wanadanganyanga? I'm like, what have I done?
Yeah.
You lied to me. Utakuja kutuchukua saa 9. But you did not.
Oh my God.
So we have to set our children completely away from our ministry. Let them desire the God that we manifest.
Oh, that's true.
Let them desire, like I am a counselor. Let them see the way I treat their mother. Then they desire to come close to what I say. But we can't force them to become.
We can't. Do you know some mistakes leaders in church do? You'll hear a church leader tell their child, na ujue, mimi ni mzee wa kanisa. If you go to that party, if you dress like that, you are embarrassing.
Yes.
So, you're heaping your expectations on your child. And you're not allowing your child to be a teenager. So that child will grow up hating you, hating your God, hating church. And you know how children get back at us? They rebel.
Exactly.
They grow up to be the opposite of everything you represented. Because it's like we are imposing our God and our values on them. So one of the things I've learned is this. I'm called to counsel, to teach, to preach. Let me do it. My son will hear himself for himself. God will speak to him whether he should be in ministry. If God decides he should not be, then he should do whatever he.
Exactly.
You never force your child to conform to your belief system. No, you lead by example.
Teach them how to pray.
Read
the word of God with them. Show them your ways, but don't force them into your ways.
Don't force
That is why we have a lot of children hating God. I remember telling you one child told us that she hates God because this God robbed their mother. This God, every time I go to my mom, I want to talk to my mom. She tells me, go to God in prayers. So I have never had my mom's love. If anytime I want to spend with mom, she's either in fellowship or at church or going for wedding or what in the house of this God.
But the parent does not have time for the child.
So they believe, the girl believed that this God is a thief. He stole my mom from me. So we ought to live a life that will bring our children close to us. I was telling some preachers sometimes, I told them, like, okay, I feel like I'm tired of shouting and screaming and talking about LGBTQ and talking about, especially mentioning Muzungu. Because why are our children abandoning our ways and decide to follow another person? You fuel your child with money. You give them pocket money. You pay school fees. You buy them clothes and all that. And yet they don't want to follow your ways. I remember there was a story I gave sometimes. I think, I don't know if it was in this program, of one child. The father was a pastor. And the father asked one day, like, if God came today and said that he want to pick one person and take him home to a good place in heaven, whom would you propose? The child thought for a moment. Then she told the father, kuna ule mama wana hapa juu, yule anakuanga wa intercessory. She's a very nice lady and she loves God. Naweza ambia Mungu asimwache. The father almost left ministry. It really broke him down. Imagining that this is my child. I've been teaching him. I've been making him a preacher every day because the child could preach. At the age of around 6, the child could preach. I have been making a preacher in her. Now she can't even acknowledge the ministry that is in me. That is, I believe this is the message that we need to send to our preachers and our counselors. You can help your child just basically. The little you understand, I would really, really recommend, just look for a person you trust. Because today you can't just give your child to anyone. Just look for a person you trust. Let that child trust that person. And together we are going to grow a good society.
Yes, sir.
But if we try to bring up our children, another thing that will make our children not to disclose things to us, it's that, you know, you are a parent and you have authority.
Yeah.
So imagine, saizi umemkerelesha, you are harsh on him right now. Then the next minute, you want to guide him. It won't be easy.
He won't listen to
there will be that aspect of rebellion.
Yes, and resistance.
Yeah. So because of that position, the position that you have, you've been given by God, and you know when a child comes to you, it's very hard for you to rebuke that child.
Yeah.
You talk to them with a lot of love, with a lot of understanding, unless they go to some extent. Yeah. That's when you rebuke them. That's when you'll be hard on them.
Yeah.
But primarily, when a child goes to a counselor, you want to win the trust of that child.
Yeah.
Or not just a child, anybody. So the kind of journey that I walk with that child will be more giving him or her more confidence and trust on me than on that parent who sometimes have to apply authority.
Yeah. You know, one of the mistakes I think African parents do, and the way we were raised, and they did good, they raised as well, but one of the mistakes they made is their way of parenting was always looking for the bad in you.
Yeah.
You get? They always fault finding.
Yeah.
And they were always very harsh. They could not be polite to you. You know, sometimes even the way they would ask you something, it was sarcastic. I've
left you with the baby. Make sure you cook.
You know, that's their way of parenting. So they were so hard on us that what happened is, like you gave the illustration, when your parents said, I want to talk to you, all of a sudden you start to think, what have I done? You're always defensive.
Yeah.
And that level of fear, again, I repeat myself, it made us not to connect with our parents. Do you know, I remember the way we were raised, if a grown-up came into the living room, automatically you'd get up and leave. Isn't it?
That's true. That's very true.
You would get up and, but nowadays we've seen that when a parent comes, the child will run and hug
you.
For us, that physical touch was almost unheard of.
My friend, you could not even sit next to your parent.
You could only, in fact, you could only speak to your dad when he spoke to you.
Exactly.
And if you wanted something, you'd go through your mom
for her to go to the father.
Yes. So you see, we were raised in a very military style of training, which again caused there to be that parental fear.
Yeah.
And by default, we also make the mistake of raising our children the same way we were.
We were raised.
But it's important for us to understand that the challenges this generation is facing are different from the challenges we are facing.
That is true.
So we have to renew our mind and adopt to better ways of parenting.
Wow. That is awesome. I know our...
Hello everyone, my names are Edwin Mbachu, and I am a trained counselor and a life coach by profession. Now here at Helping Hearts Counseling Center, we offer services that include youth mentorship programs, mental health awareness, guidance and counseling on drugs and substance abuse, rehabilitation services, as well as drug testing. Now we are located at Bishop Karaoke Center, opposite Wangige Level 4 Hospital, and you can reach us on 0723 820 271 or 07188 72556. Helping Hearts Counseling Services, a place of healing for you and your loved ones.